IVM.
You're listening to TFG Football.
Hello and welcome to another episode of TFG Indian Football Podcast. Last time when we were speaking to you, we were all totally bummed out. Completely decimated after India crashed out against Bahrain, lost 1-0, got booted out of the Asian Cup from the group stage after everybody literally thought we were going to the second round. Things have changed so much for in the last 1 week, Kevin.
What has changed?
Everything.
It's changing in the national team?
Yeah, it is national thing, but that India versus Bahrain game seems like that happened like 3 months ago at this point. Right? Constantine has left. I've come back to India. The I-League is going on. ISL has started immediately after we got booted out. The players came back. ISL restarted. And we've had some very interesting games already. The Kolkata Derby happened on Sunday. East Bengal beat Mohun Bagan. Some very interesting, controversial things happened around it as usual on and off the field. Then Bengaluru FC suffered their first defeat of the season against Mumbai City FC. And that has opened up the top of the table race. There's no title race in ISL, but that looks like ISL points table looks like finally it's going to have some competition after a long time. And then Jamshedpur FC Goa played out a draw. Then Real Kashmir went and beat Chennai City FC. The I-League title race is now a total cluster of 4 clubs just going for it. Or top gear. There's Chennai City don't have much of a lead anymore, and everybody is just going after it. And the top 4 race, the clubs between the 3rd and the 6th position in ISL are also going all at it to be in the top 4. So exciting times, Kevin. Both I-League and ISL seem to be like super competitive right now.
Very much. And it only happened with one result. Only one result makes so much of a difference. Chennai City were on such a good run, and this changes it all. Going down against the closest rivals, it's just already it was built to be one of the games of the season, and rightfully it lived up to its name. Even in the ISL, we previewed this game, Bengaluru and Mumbai City. Although there is no title race yet, because the semi-finals finals have to be done. But what it shows is Bengaluru are not invincible, and they can be beaten, and they can be beaten in a fashion which was just coming.
Yeah.
We talked about how Mumbai City have grown strength to strength, how they just transformed gradually, but they just got stronger over time. And it was a show of strength by Mumbai City coming into this game, and especially in front of the home fans. I think this was wanting to be the game, and rightfully we got everything that we were hoping to see from Mumbai City. They weren't just there thanks to a couple of results. This is improved on every tactical and technical department that George Costa has shaped this team already.
Yeah, I mean, continuing with the theme of the ISL games, something that Bengaluru FC always had a advantage over others is that they always seem to start their season early. Like even this time they started with AFC Cup, and Carl Squadrat had early initiations into competitive football. He had a long time to check his team out. Other ISL teams started a little bit later, and you could see that Jorge Costa comes in. He wasn't there last season, right? No, yeah. So Jorge Costa gets appointed. He plays some friendlies, prepares, and there's a bit of stumble at the beginning. But as time goes on, Mumbai City have come into their own, and you can tell that this is because Jorge Costa is getting to understand his players better. He's getting to implement his strategies better, and even the players understand the coach better. And you just wonder, like, if Mumbai City had a prolonged build-up, if we had a good little cup tournament in the lead up to ISL, like small Durand Cup type, and all the some of the big clubs in the country send teams there, play experimental football, make 6 substitutions, whatever, but send the teams, give them some game time, give the fans something to look forward to, and you come into the league way more prepared, and it just pays off so much better. You just wonder if Mumbai City had that time to prepare. I mean, they could have literally been, right now it's not much of a lead at the top of the table. They could have been at the top of the table very firmly right now.
Yeah, easily. But the good thing to notice over here is Mumbai City didn't have the greatest of starts. Slumped to immediate criticism from everybody saying Guimaraes was the one for the team staying for continued second season. And George Costa, the way he brought his experience in, it was showing that your performance outside India won't matter, because it's a format that's not very, it's not yet set, because we've got simultaneous leagues going on. The breaks for the first time that came in, that were introduced into the ISL, multiple breaks. And, thankfully, I think this is well worked for the Mumbai City manager. And he's planned his way around the time that was available at hand, using the breaks well, and also the strength of the player. We've seen a couple of players retained, but the new additions, that is how it's a patient build-up, I would say. It wasn't easy to see that the start that Mumbai City had. You wouldn't imagine they would really turn the tables upside down. But they've only grown stronger with every game that they played. So if you want to point out to a team that's slowly building up and catching up to the league leaders, it had to be Mumbai City, because they really creeped up the way up to the top.
Yeah, definitely. Bengaluru FC, of course, did not look that good at all. It seems like if somebody had a adverse effect on their momentum because of the international break, so far it seems like Bengaluru FC suffered the most. So what do you think about it? Like, how do you deal with a break in the middle of the season? It's unusual. Asian Cup, almost you are expecting a month of break bang in the middle of the season. How do you, if you're a coach, how do you think you can keep a team in the spirit of the games? What do you do? Organize friendlies, or let them just go on a holiday, then let them come back? How do you keep it going?
So one thing is to note over here, because when you talk about breaks, it's not break for all players. So you do have a set of players who are available with you. We've reached an age where technology helps us to do so much. Even if you've not had the best of planning in the season, you have your breaks coming up. The data always helps. It's the off season where you can work on the data, how it can show you trends, it can show you patterns of how your team has been. So that can be utilized in theory sessions. It could be a classroom built-in. Videos can be used to show it to the player. In that matter, there's a whole lot of off-field methodology that has been already tried and tested in so many teams. So in those breaks, I think the players that are available obviously can be, it obviously cannot be all play all day long. So it's got to be more with team bonding as well. We saw a couple of videos of teams going out for the morning exercises. We've got some on-field enjoyment that is going, light training sessions. It's all a mix. Use the time to study the data, study the opponents. So that's all part of the plan. When you know your breaks are set, it gives you so much to do in the off season.
Yeah. So now that you look at the data, after Mumbai City, Bengaluru, Jamshedpur FC and FC Goa played out a goalless draw. Neither team wanted to lose. I think both will be either a little bit disappointed, or they'll be like, okay, ठीक है, नहीं हारे, we're still on track, because ATK also dropped points against Kerala Blasters. So now that you're looking at the points table data, we've got Goa on 21 points from 12 games, Jamshedpur FC on 20, ATK right behind with 17. Who do you think is going to pull out in front? Like it seems like Goa might get Goa have dropped points. They're going to face Mumbai City next. So if they lose one more, they are in the danger of being overtaken by Jamshedpur. Do you think that's going to happen in the next week or two?
Yeah, Jamshedpur have been the draw specialist for a second time running.
Yeah.
And, it just, sometimes this is what semi-final and the final gives you, that scope, that leverage to go easy at times, not really all out towards the end of the season. So even if you've got a set of cramped fixtures, it really doesn't matter. You can just hold on to those nil-nil goal score lines.
Yeah.
You can really get those marginal victories just to keep you afloat around that fourth position, that final spot of playoffs.
Yeah.
So for me, right now, if you really can't go into that mode, you can start away with really predicting. So these are your other three. We know Bengaluru FC has already got 1 foot towards a playoff. They got such a healthy lead right there. But the next 4 or 5 spots are always up for grabs towards the last 2 match days as well.
Yeah.
You've seen it was a close race last time around as well. So not really going into predicting a strong finish for any of the other 3 right now.
So it also works out for these teams which have a good defense and can grind out a 0-0 draw, because most of the teams that have won the ISL have been those kind of teams, like ATK, not the best team, never the best team, but grinds out a result against Mumbai City, wins in penalties, beats Kerala Blasters. All of a sudden, you're the champion. It works out in ISL for teams like Jamshedpur FC the way they're playing now. That's what's happening in the ISL side. In I-League, well, the two completely blockbuster games happened, right? Sunday and Monday. On Sunday, the Kolkata Derby happened, and East Bengal scored a double over Mohun Bagan, which is rare. This is the 3rd time they have done it. The last 2 times, the only 2 times they have done it was in 2002-2003 and 2003-2004, and both those seasons East Bengal lifted the trophy, right? And this is the 3rd time they have done it, and they're not that far from the trophy right now. Then Real Kashmir versus Chennai City happened, and well, the entire title race got shook up as Chennai City lost to Real Kashmir 1-0, tight game, but of course Real Kashmir just claiming victory on a sunny day in Kashmir. And what do you think? Which of the games was more impactful, do you think? Was it Kolkata Derby with all the drama, or Real Kashmir and Chennai City with all the title implications?
I think it was a Real Kashmir game because there was much more on the line. Mohun Bagan, you can keep them aside. They're not really there, as we talked about last time. So when you really have something there for grabs, that is where it makes things interesting. Chennai City had everything to play for. Real Kashmir went in fearlessly, and that just shows your home advantage, your belief that live wire effect that was there in that team. You could see they were so hungry, playing in the top flight for the first time, bringing up that Kashmir state name. It was all pushing them up. And we saw right from the start, Chennai City were not at the usual best. This is rare. Now, this could be leading. It could be leading from, say, weather conditions to pressure getting to them, to the tactics applied by Real Kashmir. So there was a lot being said about the weather conditions being affected. But I think, in a way, it was Real Kashmir's game to take, because they were playing not to be losing, because we had more to play for rather than to lose. For Chennai City, it was the other way around. And this pressure tracked them up.
Yeah, I mean, this is so interesting, the way things work out in the I-League. Chennai City, of course, a very well-knit team. It's very consistent, gives you result day in, day out. And then they go to Kashmir and play in a little bit alien conditions against a physical team on a small ground. It's a turf, not grass. They practice in the snow. Then we have 18,000 very vocal and hardcore supporters cheering for the home team. All of a sudden, Real Kashmir grinds out a victory, and now everybody is at it. Chennai City at 30 points, Churchill Brothers 28 points, both on 14 games. Real Kashmir also on 28 points from 14 games. East Bengal are on 25 from 13. So basically, if they win their next game, they're practically at the same spot as Real Kashmir and Churchill Brothers. Yeah, and that means the effective lead of Chennai City is down to 2 points, and one misstep means somebody takes the just overtakes them, and we got.
Wasn't it interesting when you see a Chennai City team that has been free flowing in goal scoring, and they've been so flawless in defense, and all of a sudden it's all left behind. It's left behind all the start, all the momentum that they had built up, and it just makes it for nothing. And Real Kashmir is out of. We are talking about Mumbai City coming up slowly up the ranks, getting stronger and stronger. And see this story that Real Kashmir has come up with. They're challenging title contenders, the leaders who had such a healthy lead. And it's a similar story going right there. But then look at Kashmir there. The first time in the top division, this is playing so fearlessly. Who would imagine them to challenge the title contenders already in the first year?
Yeah, I mean, literally, they're actually riding the momentum from last season, which we saw happen with Niroka as well last time.
Yes.
And it's also the fact that it's not like they're going up against teams who have the most experienced players in the country anymore. All the experienced players, all the cream of the crop has gone over to ISL. But that's why it's still so interesting that even with these players, I-League clubs are still so deadly. Like, that's what you can do with a good strategy and players that can execute it as a unit. And that's what happens. Like, Real Kashmir probably have kept almost half their squad from the second division team that became champions and came up. And it's delivering the results. Of course, right now they have all the momentum. They have all the backing of the state. They're playing for way more than just one club or one match or just one more title. It's almost symbolic what they're doing out there. And
they're also gearing up to a similar finish that we've seen last season. Remember Punjab right there with the lead.
Yeah.
And then slowly started stepping up towards when it was really required. And Meroka went right up till the final. All 4 teams are challenging for the title right till the end.
Yeah, and the gap is 2 points. 4 clubs, 2 points. You literally cannot even make a bet right now. Because who knows what, like Churchill Brothers and Real Kashmir are going to play. Depending on whether one club wins the game or it's a draw, the entire title race will look like a very different thing on Thursday. Then we have Real Kashmir playing Gokulam and East Bengal playing Niroka, and then we have another top of the table showdown between Real Kashmir and East Bengal. And you have a team like Chennai City failing in Kashmir. It's going to be so delicious to look at how a Spanish touch team like East Bengal goes out and does in that condition. But again, we just don't know whether we will get to see it, because one sad part about the Real Kashmir Chennai City game was that the game was not seen by anybody who was not there. Right, the game was pulled from Star Sports a few days ago because their OB van got stuck in Shimla. Then they tried DD Kashmir. Even DD Kashmir's van could not show up, and they wanted to stream the match. But when they tried to stream it, the internet did not work. So, किसी को नहीं दिखा. A historic match where Real Kashmir just announced themselves that they are title contender and real title winning material. Like, you can't complain if after beating the league leaders of the entire season, they go on to win the league also. So, yeah, suddenly the The luck ran out for everybody, I would say. Did you see it coming, man? I kind of saw it coming. When I was looking at the game was being pulled from everywhere, I thought like, आज ये blackout होएगा.
It's something that adds up to the curiosity of the seriousness of this league. Because everything is up for grabs, everything is on the line for all, and then all of a sudden it's like an anti-climax.
Yeah.
Everything just goes down the spiral, and you get to see nothing.
Yeah.
There's so much build-up prior to the game, and it's sad to miss out to see it.
So hopefully there won't be more troubles on the Real Kashmir versus East Bengal game, because I'm really looking forward to that one. That one is going to, I think, define how the rest of the season will play out, because I suspect East Bengal have more mileage in this title race than Churchill Brothers and Real Kashmir. The team they have, the depth of quality they have, that's it looks like they're meant to go out and capture it. I mean, I'm not saying this with any amount of happiness in my heart, as you can understand, because just now East Bengal beat Mohun Bagan 2-0 at the Kolkata Derby in a game that was it was nerve-wracking. It was controversial. It was physical. It led to a lot of fallout. Your quick impression on the game, Kevin?
This was a typical derby. Everything in it. There's no derby. There's no Kolkata Derby if it's not controversy driven. It's not talking about what should have been, what could have been. But for me, as a neutral, I really look up to this as one of the biggest times that Indian football has shown. This is interest, irrespective of what situation both teams are in. It's always interesting to have the build-up so much, and especially for East Bengal. This is the momentum that they wanted to carry forward, and Mohun Bagan could do all damage to that. But I think they just held on a little. They were a little more braver than they really expected. Mohun Bagan, they've had a troubled season. We all know how difficult it has been. The players really, it doesn't look like that fighting Mohun Bagan, where you have that step up from the top teams, and then you give the chance to Mohun Bagan to bounce back. It's not really that team. I don't know for what reason, but East Bengal were looking the stronger before the start. But you always have those talking points. Coming back to the refereeing decisions, coming back to those free kicks being conceded. But I think overall it didn't look like the most happening derby as it has been from the last few years.
Yeah, well, it's a loss after dominating the derby for 33 months, Mohun Bagan have lost 2 in a row. And just on the refereeing decision, so I have heard two schools of thought. One was that Dika took the shot, it hit Darren Caldera before going in, and Darren Caldera was in offside position. That's one school of thought which supports the linesman's decision. The other school of thought is that Caldera was not really affecting the momentum of the ball. It's not like the ball was going out and Caldera just put it back inside the net. He did not alter the direction of the ball. And some people were citing examples of similar situations happening in international football and decisions going different ways for different referees. What's your personal opinion on this?
Firstly, irrespective of the rule book, irrespective of what we know about the law of the game for being disallowed, it all comes down to what the referee saw from the angle that he was in.
Yeah.
And that can be the end result. You can always have two sides to the argument because that's what is natural. Mm-hmm. But what the referee sees at that moment, I think that is detrimental to his decision. It sometimes it can even negate the rule of the law. Probably when we're talking about the ball not moving. You have a player not interfering in the player in the ball being played. So it could be on the linesman that if it's not an infringement or he's not distracting or deflecting the ball from its course, you can rule it. The player's not. You can just imagine the player has not done anything. We just have the goal being counted. But from my point of view, I would really say the referee's decision was correct at that situation, knowing that the linesman was supportive of what he saw, and he had to be, he had to make a judgment on that decision as well. So probably it won't take too many yeses, but I think that was a perfect decision from the referee side.
Yeah, well, even I have to concur. I mean, when I saw it first, I thought the decision was atrocious, but later I was looking at the stills and hearing some people's arguments, and I was like, yeah, I would see the point if the referee allowed the goal, if the linesman did not put the flag up, but I see this point as well. So yeah, East Bengal won the game as the better team, and they deserve to enjoy this moment. Meanwhile, Mohun Bagan are falling apart. If you have been keeping an eye on social media, at the time we're recording, close to 100 Mohun Bagan fan groups have simultaneously suspended their match day activities because some of the tifos that Mohun Bagan fans brought were stopped by the police, and that was done at the direction of the club officials, Mohun Bagan club officials, who told the police to watch out for any objectionable content in the banners. So 4 tifos were blocked by the police from entering, and all of them belong to the Mohun Bagan fans. And as a protest, the fans are doing that. Some of the Kevin, the content of the tifo, some of it was controversial. One of them, referred to the East Bengal fans as invaders, which is quite derogatory considering their migrant heritage. But the question comes down to is, what can should the clubs just start censoring the expression of the fans like this, or should they allow it to play out on both sides? Because of course even East Bengal took a jibe at Mohun Bagan in the last derby with tea and sugar and milk. If you go to the Maidan, you know what that means. So where do you stand on this? Is this the direction Indian football should take?
We've seen things happening at the derby, prior and post at the derby. It's a heritage that both these clubs have for Indian football. When we talk about history, we do talk about East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. But going to the lens at taking the opposition down via your slogans, via your expressions on fabric or words, or it has to come down to the hurt of this. It's the sentiment that's hurt in some matter. If it's going to be hurting religious sentiment, it's going to be hurting club sentiment, it's going to be hurting regional sentiment. It's no longer accepted, and that is where I think the club has to take a stand. Censoring can happen at after a point when the club has made it clear that it will stand by something which is positive, which is right, and not something racist or something that is hurting anybody's sentiment. If it has been made clear by the club officials in a recent time, and the fans do without taking notice or without paying heed to that, then I think the censorship should be applied. But I haven't seen something from either of the clubs being put out as a message to the fans saying that they would appreciate the sentiment to be kept in place, the mutual respect for both fans, clubs, and players. So this is going to continue because we see a club. You see clubs who have not supported fans' voices. They've not come and appreciated fan clubs. So this is bound to happen. So when you can't control your your voices, your opinions of your fans via your positive words, you will be trying to censor them via not accepted methods like directing the police. So in a way, I think this was bound to happen, and it's in a way a proper protest. I wouldn't say they're going any wrong means in doing this. So this is also sending a signal to the club, obviously, that they care and they really want them to take some actions and be vocal about what the fans are protesting about.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you to the extent that, given the tension that comes to a boil during derbies between the Bengal and Ghoti communities, if you use words like invader or servant, it's going to, provoke somebody, and then if something happens, somebody gets provoked, it, triggers a brawl and somebody gets hurt. And that's what I keep saying, like, if you're going to provoke, the same thing I say about, burning flags of the opponent team. Like, you do something that provokes, that is going to provoke the other side. And if somebody gets hurt because of that, do you want that on your conscience? So that's the self-reflection that the fans need to do. But all the banners should not have been, stopped. For one banner was like taking a jab at East Bengal that you're a lion before I-League, but during I-League you become a pussycat, referring to their 16 years without winning the league. But so it's there's no reason for that to be stopped. But the police did it, and I think what makes the matter worse is that the people who are blocking these banners are not the host club. They are letting the police do it, and the police does not understand 100% of the banter that goes on. Some of the things that may be offensive, they will let in, and some of the things that are not offensive, they will block. So it just becomes a mess, complete mess, and then the club just points the finger at the police. Hey, we didn't block it, police blocked it, and the police will say we only blocked it because the club said watch out for objectionable banners. And we don't know. We thought it might be bad, so we blocked it. It's not like the police is out there to, it's their first priority is to ensure free expression and proper banter happens in the galleries. So yeah, it's like, I think that's what enrages the fans, that you have a complete shirking of responsibility and just an utter disregard and disrespect for fans that plays out in the Maidan. Let's see. The protest is growing at this stage. There's not going to be too many people who will show up for the Mohun Bagan Gokulam Kerala FC game. I think it's going to be a near universal boycott. And until the club management does something to rectify the situation, it's not going to get better. And from what we're hearing, something might happen, some announcement, some movement might happen from the club management pretty soon. But anyway, this is the first half of the show. On the other side, we have a surprise guest for you who will be speaking exclusively to us, and he's an Indian international footballer. So stick around.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another awesome week on the IVM Podcast Network. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We've been doing this for a couple of weeks, and I think it's working out quite well. If you're enjoying the show that you're listening to, why don't you do this? Pause the show, take a screenshot, and post it to your Instagram stories. Tag us on IVM Podcast, and leave us a comment for what you think about the show that you're listening to. We'll post that to our story so that, everybody can see what's going on, who's listening to what. Also, I have another little announcement. We are finally launching our new version of our Android app. It's going to be out officially and properly. It's going to move out of beta. So if you are listening to us on the old app, it might be time for you to kind of look for the new one. Unfortunately, it's not going to update from the old app. You're going to need to re-download the app or reinstall the app from the new listing. You'll be able to get the new app. You'll get a link for that from either the show description of the show that you're listening to, or you could go to our website and there'll be a link over there. So we launched a new show called How to Citizen. It is hosted by policy professional Meghnad S. and comedian Shreyas Manohar. Every episode is a look back at a chapter from an 8th standard civics textbook. The first episode featuring Rohan Joshi is out now. On the Seen and the Unseen is part 2 of Amit Verma's conversation with historian and author Ramchandra Guha. They discuss the return of Mahatma Gandhi to India and his involvement in the freedom movement. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik Nagarajan talks to Ramki S., founder of Sports Mechanics India. They talk about how video analysis changed the face of Indian cricket and why Virendra Sehwag dedicated his Multan Triple 100 to Ramki. On Cinemaya, our Hindi film show, filmmaker Aruna Rajay Patil shares one of the most dramatic human stories of love, loss and hope with host Swati Bakshi. On Varta Lab, Naveen and Akash talk to fellow comic Adar Malik about his background in law and parting ways with the comedy collective SNG. And with that, let's get you back to your show.
Welcome back to TFG Indian Football Podcast. We have Raju Gaikwad, the stellar defender himself, who is speaking to us exclusively. Kevin, you stay in Malad, right?
I've stayed in Malad before.
Yeah, I mean, I stay at Kherwadi, and guess what? He's from Kalina, which is directly between us. So if I try to go to your house, I will be passing through his house. So it was really great to catch up with somebody who felt that local to the area that we both know, and he has that Mumbai roots, a good sportsman family background, and he went on to play for the biggest clubs in the country: East Bengal, Mohun Bagan, FC Goa. Then he's playing for Jamshedpur FC now. So it was great to catch up with him and listen to him as he lays out his expectations, targets for the season. He's having a good time at Jamshedpur FC. The club is having a good time, and he's got some personal goals. So let's take a listen to him. First, I just wanted to ask about, because we don't see way too many players who are natives of Mumbai who have been playing in the high level of football for so long in the current times. So what prompted you to get into football?
Actually, my father basically he was in sports more. Like okay. He's a boxer. Achha. So he has a Chhatrapati award. Uh-huh. So basically my family whole, like my father, my brothers, they were in completely sports. So we looked at around completely, and like after some fifth standard in school, because we had a lot of opportunity in where they in Mumbai in Kalina. Yeah. So there were more football, like the Bimal Ghosh, like Otay Pereira was there. So we had a good opportunity, like to come up. So it was good, like we are having some good coaches, like to coming up for our players, like in school state.
Yeah, but your career really took off after you joined Tata Football Academy. So how did that trial come about?
Yeah, Tata Football Academy, like it's a big stage for me. Like that was my good time. We had like good memories, and that thing only made us in a professional. Yeah. And as I joined in East Bengal and spent more time in Calcutta. Yeah. So that was my dream also, to be in Calcutta, because more craze, good football. Yeah. And yeah.
So I mean, how did the opportunity come for Tata Football Academy?
Actually, I was in Mahendra. I was in under 16. Okay. So I was playing there. So we had a tournament in Calcutta. So from there, from Tata Football Academy, Vijay Kumar and Ranjan Chaudhary, these coaches, they had come for selection. So from there, I got a call for trials. After that, in 2005-06, I went for trial. And after that, I got selected. And I started my journey from 2006 to 10 in Tata Football Academy.
Nice. So, I mean, after that, you got into Pehla Arrows. I mean, it was AIFF 11, I think it was called back then. So, So was that how you thought you should get into the top tier, or I mean, did it seem like a good idea at that time to play for a experimental team with so many inexperienced players, or did you want to just go into a big club that would give you grooming from other players and maybe even better coaches?
Actually, we had after Tata Football Academy, I had a sign with East Bengal actually. Okay. For 2 years, I actually had a sign. So after that, we were playing for under 20, under 23. We were national team. We was the under 23. From there, actually, the AFF started planning to build up this Indian Arrows, which is they are playing in I-League now. Yeah. So it started that time in 2011. So that was a good plan for which AFF made, like taking players from under 23 and under 19 mix up and So we had a good year in 2011. Maybe we came in I-League something 7th or 8th position we came.
Yeah.
So without India foreigners, and we had a good tournament that year.
Yeah.
And good players were there, and they wanted to do that further to plan for the same team, but club actually didn't allow some of the players who was in clubs. They had a sign with the clubs, so we have gone back to East Bengal. Some other boys went to other clubs. So after that, I joined in 2012 again to East Bengal, and after that I played in East Bengal after Mohun Bagan.
4 seasons at East Bengal, those were some very interesting times. Indian football was changing. Even Kolkata football was, going through a lot of changes. So what was it like? At a young age, playing for a big marquee club like that, is the pressure, too much for a young player to handle early on, because from day one you're expected to deliver?
Yeah. Actually, we started joining East Bengal in the young age. Little pressure is there, when we play a derby match or big match, and lots of pressure is there, from the fans, official, and all these things are there. But when we get used to this, so everything get stable. So 1 year, 2 year, so automatically you get to know everything. And pressure likely goes away, and you get too used to all these things, and it's good playing in that atmosphere, big crowd, big fans, and it is really good to be there.
Yeah, and 2014 was, I think you went to play for Mumbai City in the first ISL. And after such a long, at that point you were already playing for India. You had already been around the country playing football. This was the first time you got to play for a club from your city. So was that special, or felt different or something?
Yeah, it was good. In ISL, I joined in Mumbai City, but I didn't got much chances. But I started, and after that I didn't got much chances, and very few matches I played there, and not that good season I had there. And after that, this year before, I was in Mumbai City, so I had a good season. And it's good to play in different places and getting different experience in different states and different places, different club. So we get to know more about every club and every state. It's good, but.
Yeah, 2011 was a very big year for you. You played for under 23s, and then immediately within 1 month, I think, just suddenly got the call up and played for in the national senior team. Can you give me some pieces of memory from that time? How did you get the call first time that you were going to play for the under 23, stuff like that?
Actually, when we joined the Indian Arrows, that time we were in young and very in peak time, and we started playing Indian Arrows, and was continuing playing in the 11. And after that, after Indian Arrows, the same coach was there, Abul Pingi, joined for under 23 national team, and after that we were together. The same team was there together, so it was easy for us. Everyone boys are together, and it was easy to play and more understanding together. And it was good to play with all the boys, same boys in under 23 and Indian Arrows. And it was good time. It was most of the 6-7 boys was suddenly we were in the national team after under 23. So everyone were in the good shape, and really, I think so, really motivated, and we had a good coach, obviously. And we were under Bob Upton that year, same year, and after one tournament we played in maybe in Malaysia, something, and after that he left. So we had a good experience from start. We started with Bob Upton, and after that we had a good time with the national team, and I got really confident slowly after under 23 Indian Arrows, and I went to national team. So my confidence went up, and I got more experience with the senior players and all these things.
You're one of the big games in your national career is when India beat Cameroon at Nehru Cup, and you were in that game. So, what was the feeling like? Being at the center stage in such a big game.
That was good. That was a good tournament for us, and playing with big teams like Cameroon, and I feel it was really a great experience playing with big teams, getting good exposures and getting experience more. And really, I like to play with the good teams. We get more experience, more confidence, further in our football journey. So we had a great time and we won the tournament. It was really good time for us.
Yeah, I mean, and that was literally one of those memorable games where India just goes out and performs to the best of their abilities, and you have a memorable result. So after that, you've been you made a move from East Bengal to Mohun Bagan not very long afterwards. 2015, I think it was. Did that get a kind of negative reaction from fans, because you're going from one rival club to another? It's a bit of a frowned upon move.
Yeah, but for the fans it may be. Yeah. But as a player, because I wanted to play for East Bengal and Mohun Bagan. I wanted that experience more in Calcutta because I knew there is more exposure, and it's really, I feel playing in Calcutta and that atmosphere, and I really get more confident day by day playing there from East Bengal to Mohun Bagan, and I was really comfortable being there.
Yeah. And you won the Federation Cup also with Mohun Bagan. How was that like?
Yeah, it was really good. I saw, I was there in East Bengal also. We won Federation Cup in Siliguri also. Yeah. And after that, we were in Mohun Bagan. So that celebration when we take the cup and come to Calcutta city, it was amazing. The atmosphere from the airport to the club. Yeah. It was memorable for us. Can't forget all that memories. So it was really amazing. With all the crowds coming from airport to the club. It was really full packed. So it was really nice. That's the thing only about Calcutta. That craze is there. That respect is there for the players.
So you've been, also you have had other clubs which are very popular with the fans there, FC Goa, and you were playing in front of packed stadiums when you moved there. So how would you compare the crowd of Kolkata with the crowd of Goa? Is it similar in terms of tone and intensity?
I think so. Maybe from my view, it is different. Calcutta crowd and then Goan crowds are a little different. Calcutta crowds are I think so. They're a little more aggressive, and the expectations are very high in Calcutta. Yeah. In every matches, and it's different in Goa. In ISL, when ISL started, the crowd coming up, and it was good. I can say Calcutta also is good and Goa also is much better, but it's a different type of fans, and so Goa also was a really amazing season for me when Zico was there. I had a really good experience under Zico, and really I had a good time with the coach.
Yeah, and it was also the season where the controversial final happened in Goa. Can you give us a few memories from that game? What went wrong suddenly? Because Goa seemed like they were about to grab it, and they were unstoppable all season, and just it fell apart in the last few minutes. What happened there?
No, we had a great season. Actually, I played a semi-final in Delhi, and after that I got injury and played a final. And we had a good match, that final match with Chennai, and it's a part of game. So we had a good game because I was seeing the game from the stadium. So both the team played well. Goa also played, Chennai also played well. But in the last moment, we conceded a goal, and they took the trophy.
Yeah, but coming back to the current season, when you got the offer from Jamshedpur and you joined, was it something of a homecoming for you, because Tata Football Academy is where everything began, and suddenly you are back and playing professionally in their club?
Yeah, actually, when I got a call from them, so my 80% was 85% was because that thing from where I came out, from where I been a professional football player. So I had a dream to be there and experience that something professional teams are coming there, and to be there to help the team. And we have a good time here now, and really a good infrastructure is there in Tata.
Yeah.
I can't see anywhere in Indian football what infrastructure they have in Tata Football Academy and this Tata Jamshedpur FC. So really, it's really comfortable having a good time with this team.
Yeah, and of course the race is on. We're getting some tough fight from a couple of other clubs to stay in the top four. Optimistic about the season?
Yeah, 6 matches are left, and chances are more for us. We are just preparing ourselves. We're having a first game in Goa on 28th.
Yeah.
So we're getting prepared for the match, and we're trying to give our best, and all are getting prepared. And as all the teams wanted to be in the top four, so we're just focusing on 28th and want to be looking forward to win.
Yeah, is it a bit different for you, like emotionally, when you play against a former club, or is it just professional?
I think so. It is it motivates me in some part, and playing with my ex team, and I feel good, because whenever I play with my old teams, that from inside that motivation comes. I don't know, but it's really to playing with the good teams with Goa.
Yeah. So when you were playing for Mohun Bagan, you were going extra hard against East Bengal.
Yeah, and that any match in Derby, every player they go really hard, because that is the only match it's for East Bengal and Mohun Bagan basically, and it's really, if you go to have experience in the stadium, it's really from the fan, from the player, it's a motivation match, it's like something different.
Yeah,
I have experience there with the derby match. So it's really you will feel when you are young, when you play first time a derby, you will feel that pressure. But when you get used to, but you will feel I want to play again and again this match, this derby match.
Yeah, really. There's a derby coming up on Sunday. Who do you think will win?
I'll not support any particular team, but I was there last derby between Bengal and Mohun Bagan. I was with my wife. I went for a match. So we had a good time there. So I took my wife. She wanted to watch the match, derby match. Before she didn't watch any matches, but she wanted to watch. So we had a good time there, and East Bengal won that day.
Yeah, I think I saw you there. You were at the VIP section.
Yeah, so actually, basically, my wife, she wanted to watch. She was really eager. I want to see derby match, how it is. So I thought, okay, let's go. So we had a good experience. She had a good experience, and it was a good time there. So we found out lots of official and old friends, and had a good time.
Yeah,
and it's good, coming up this derby match on 27th or 28th.
27th,
Yeah, 27th. So I just really give good luck to both the teams.
Yeah.
It's really nice to watch this derby match.
Yeah, and do you think East Bengal have any chance to win I-League this time?
Yeah, of course they have chance. They I think so till now. Maybe they can till now, because Chennai also is really ahead, and Chennai also is really playing good. East Bengal also doing well, But last match I saw Chennai and East Bengal. So for some silly mistake, they considered a goal. And I'm seeing the I-League matches for some matches, but I can't see that difference in the I-League and ISL. They're really some of the teams are really doing good in I-League, and good players are coming up, new players are coming up, getting opportunity, and they're really doing good. Most of the teams, Mohun Bagan, East Bengal, Chennai, and Kashmir, they're really doing good.
Yeah. Also, coming back to ISL, Jamshedpur FC, by all decent forecasts, will get into the semi-finals. So, what is the vibe when you went into the break during the Asian Cup? Was it about let's try to finish as high as we can, or just conserve our energy, make sure we finish top 4, and then go for it in the semi-finals?
Oh, we are really looking forward, from before only to be in top 4. So we all are giving their best, and now also we are really preparing our best to be in the top 4. And coach, every players are really working hard for that position. And last year maybe they came in the 5th, and the fans and officials, they are having great expectation from the team.
Yeah.
So we have hope, all of us. So we'll be in the top 4.
No, I mean the target is top 4, not like finishing at the top of the table here.
Yeah, it's not really important to be in the top table, but if we can make it in the top 4, it's really nice. Yeah. And it's a different thing after the final. That is a different chapter, but it's very important to be in the top 4.
You've been, it's not you earlier in the season. You were not playing regularly. Was it injury, or you were just taking your time to adjust to the club?
In between, I was going through injury when I was in Mohun Bagan for a few 3-4 months. I had some knee problems. And I came slowly come back, and after that, and it took a little bit time for me after injury. I was not in good shape, but slowly I got it, and just getting more fitter and day by day, and getting more confidence.
Yeah, in Jamshedpur, in the earlier few games, you were not playing. So was there any injury or no injury?
I started 2 games, and after that I got some injuries, and after I was good, but I was not there for some matches. But maybe coach decision was there.
Yeah.
So after that again I started before the break, 2-3 games I started, and. No, everything is going. It's all depend on the coaches.
So how has the break affected the momentum? Do you think it has taken away, because Jamshedpur FC were getting in a very good spot, and suddenly you have a 1 month gap, and you have to start from scratch basically. So did that affect negatively, or was that good?
It's good. Maybe I think so. Getting a break, players are getting more fresh and coming back, and we can see players are doing much better.
Yeah.
After the break, and doing good hard training and giving the best, and just we are more focused to give our best on 28th, and all are doing very well after the break also. So maybe it's positive for us, because we had a lot of injuries also.
Yeah.
So now everyone is fit and good in good shape. So it was good. I think so. It's positive also. I think so.
Yeah, and we just had the Asian Cup. Indian team won one game and then crashed out. Were you watching the game? How did you react when?
Yeah, I watched the game with the Baron. They played last match.
Yeah.
The league. So I think so. The improvement of the national team is really good.
Yeah.
Because I can see the matches, and the boys were really giving their best, their heart on that game. But that can happen with anyone. Anything that is a part of football. So I think so. It was really hard luck. I think so. because in the last moment it happens. So that shows like it was really unlucky. But other than that, the team was really giving their best and was really nice, like in the early Asia Cup.
In the last 5 minutes, and I was there in Sharjah, and I can tell you, literally everybody was praying. That even the crowd was almost falling silent, and everybody was just watching in anticipation. Did you feel that we could concede, or did you think it was done? We were getting a draw and we were going through.
I watched the whole game. I was from the starting. I saw the game, and I thought like we could do the match easily. That match. So, but unfortunately, that happened in the last moment. So I was hoping like we were doing really well in the starting also. So I thought we can make it a draw easily, or we can win also. But draw, I thought it was easy for us.
Yeah. And whose performance really sort of impressed you in Asian Cup? Can you name one or two players?
Jingan was really good, and of course Sunil was really doing well as he does for the national team. All of this for the national team, almost he played for the national team.
Yeah.
And actually, it's a team. Like everyone were working hard together, so it was really good to see. Like it was really a different national team.
Yeah, you have not played for the national team for a few years now. What is the what goes through your mind now when you step up to play for your club and all that? Are you aiming to win your place back in the national team camp?
Yeah, that is my target, my dream from before only when I started my football to be in the national team. But maybe I think so because of my performance or something else, I couldn't make it in the national team. But I'm giving my best, and I'll give my best to continue working hard. And the rest of the thing, just leave it on the coach who comes in the national team, new coaches, or just keep going on and work hard and just look forward to being the national team.
Yeah. What is the target for this season? ISL Super Cup. Is it a double trophy aim at Jamshedpur FC?
Yeah, because it's my dream, like to be in Tata Jamshedpur. Because from this place I came out and got a professional player, and really I want to give my best for this team. I'm looking forward to maybe take the trophy. And we are just focusing maybe in top 4, and after that we can go all out like after the top 4.
Okay, so looking forward to a lot of great performances from you. Best of luck for the game, all the matches upcoming, the rest of the season. And thanks for speaking to me.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you. Good night.
So you heard him. Jamshedpur FC are going at it with a lot of hopes and dreams, and hopefully they achieve their dream of making it to the top 4, which was unfulfilled last season. So that's about it for us today. A lot of nice things are happening all over the place in Indian football. India just have been on a roar in the women's front. Back-to-back 3 friendlies that they have won. Indonesia, they just beat 3-0. Before that, they beat Hong Kong twice. There's another game against Indonesia coming up. If we get a live stream, we'll share it on thefangarage.com. We've got SAF Championship coming up for women, and there may be something a little bit of surprise before that that AIFF will reveal soon. That's going to be a surprise that I will let them give to you guys. That's what's happening. I-League is on, ISL is on. Every single day there's non-stop footballing action, and all of it will be tracked through our Twitter handle @TFG Football and @TheFanGarage. If you're listening to this podcast on YouTube or Facebook, give us a like, do share, do subscribe, and all the other things that you do on the internet these days. I feel like I'm completely old and out of touch with these things, as I am with iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud and all these places that I'm told the podcast is available. But if you really want to take a look at the best podcasts that India has to offer, you should go to ivmpodcast.com or download the IVM Podcasts app, where you can listen to this podcast and dozens of others really good podcasts. So we will come back to you next week with updates and lots of fresh news and analysis on whatever is happening in Indian football. Till then, that was Kevin Barboza with me, and I'm Chiranjit Oja signing off.
Advertising is dead. Yep, you heard me right. Advertising is dead. We're all in the content business now. Let's not call it news, TV, radio, etc., etc. It's all content, and we're in the middle of this weirdly exciting phase where all the borders and lines that have been drawn over decades has been swept away by this lovely thing called the internet. We're a show where we don't dwell on just the stuff that is now, but rather the wider stuff about advertising, media, content, and the whole goddamn circus surrounding it. Tune in every Tuesday for our weekly unboxing of the mystery box we used to call advertising. I'm Varun Dugirala, co-founder and content chief at The Glitch, and this is my new podcast, Advertising is Dead.
How aware do you think you are of your laws and rights? Do you look up to laws when you are caught up in situations? Do you know what your rights are when you're stuck somewhere bad? Well, here's a show that can help you move an inch closer to being aware of what your rights are. Tune into Know Your Qanoon with me, Amber Rana. This is a podcast meant to answer all your law-related queries. Catch Know Your Qanoon every week on the IVM website or the app or anywhere you get your podcast from.